Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Asphalt and Aprons, episode 11. Would you believe it?
I certainly would.
In this episode, we're going to have a little chat about our recent adventures, as you may have seen on the social medias. I was heading up north on the NC500, and I was heading down south to the ABR Adventure Bike Festival. Oh, Trog, tell us about the NC500.
The NC500 was actually just a small part of my trip, as it goes without saying, the NC500 is 500 miles. I did just short of 1,300 miles with my good lady, Karen. Very, very interesting. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Had to put up with the Scottish weather, which I was expecting. So if anybody's going to go out and do this kind of thing, just make sure you've got really good waterproofs, because the showers that we came across were unbelievable. But saying that, we had a lot of sunshine as well.
And what prompted you to do the NC500?
One of the things I've always wanted to do was ride a motorbike in Orkney. Always wanted to do it. I've done everything else in Orkney, but never done it. And I wanted to take a bike home. So that was predominantly why I wanted to do it. Karen and I both retired, so it was a case of, right, let's do a holiday in Scotland, working our way up to the Orkneys on the bike. Little did we know it was going to take us 2 weeks, but hey-ho. A lot of that was due to stopping in areas and just taking in the beautiful countryside and beautiful Scotland. So we were just taking time with it. So that was the whole reason for it. And just by chance, the NC500 is a big thing nowadays. So we kept bumping into signs here, there, not physically bumping into, we kept seeing signs here, there, and everywhere. NC500, and you knew you were on it because you saw quite a lot of bikes. A lot of the other thing, all I saw was camper vans, caravans, and red deer. So, and that was it. And the odd couple of idiots racing each other in Porsches. Middle-aged men who are older than me running about in these roads in Porsches. Crazy. But hey ho, you're going to see all sides. So that's why the NC500 was in it.
I like the fact that you guys made a holiday out of it. When we did Ireland before, we went round it quite quick, in so much that you weren't getting a lot of time to stop there. So I like the fact that you and Karen planned to have a couple of days here and make it a holiday, because you'll sometimes post someone saying, I'm going to do this, and people say, oh, you can do that in a day. And it's like, yeah, but you won't see anything in the day.
I heard that for so many people saying that they've done the NC500. And there was one of the guys up in JNS Accessories when I was up there buying our gear for this trip. He said, oh, I've done it I think he said about 11 times. And they were talking in so many days. Well, to me, that's just ticking a box saying that you've done it so many times and you've done it in such and such a time. But tell me what you actually saw on that trip, your experiences on that trip. Because I'll tell you something, the experiences on it, some are quite nerve-wracking. And flying about those roads on motorbikes at that speed, you could quite easily come a cropper.
Yeah.
So to me, it was more about enjoying it, taking time with Karen, and enjoying the scenery and enjoying the holiday. And I'm pretty sure we did 99.9% of that.
And I think it's an NC500 holiday. You're not ticking the box, just as you say, I've done the NC500, it took me 16 hours or it took me days or whatever, because of the speed that we're going. You got a chance to take in the scenery, meet the people, enjoy it. And, you could have went straight up to the tip of Scotland and went over to Orkney to visit home, but what's the point when you can go around and see what's on your doorstep as well?
Yeah, because we did it the opposite as well. As far as I know, the main NC500 starts in Inverness, and that's where it starts off.
Right.
So I went past Inverness on the way back. I stayed in Dingwall overnight, but we'll get to that later.
So, were you packing or camping?
We were hotels and B&Bs. No
camping. Yeah, I'm pretty much sure Karen would be looking at that. And take us through it. I mean, obviously not bit by bit, because we'll be here forever. But yeah, take us through the highs and the lows.
Well, we're first stop, to be honest with you, because Karen's relatively new to motorbikes. I've said that to you before. I've been riding them many, many years, but this is the first big trip I've ever done with something like this. So that's why I bought the BMW to do this trip. And I must say, the bike itself certainly did what it was supposed to do. The one thing I did notice with the 1200 RT BMW is it does lack a wee bit of grunt top end. So I think that's why they've gone from the 1200 to the 1250. And I'm sure I read some comments elsewhere that it does lack a wee bit of top end. But you know what? It's a workhorse for something like this. Comfort-wise, it was absolutely perfect. It really was. Thoroughly enjoyed it on that bike. Did see quite a few bikes like yours on the road. I
Mm.
saw quite a few cruisers as well. Hats off to them for doing that in the cruiser because the roads are like, no thanks.
Would you say the road quality is something that you've got to be wary of?
Oh yeah, definitely,
Right.
100%. When we've never done, Karen and I, we'd never been virtually up the West Coast. So that's why we started off in Edinburgh, then we went up to Glencoe, and we had our first night stop in Glencoe in the King's House Hotel. And it's a big, huge, complex hotel in the middle of nowhere. It's incredible. The hotel was beautiful, and you had red deer actually coming down, foraging round about the restaurant areas outside
Cool.
while you were sitting having lunch. Weather-wise, it wasn't great, but for there we headed up to Skye, which was like, oh man, there's someone else. Like when you're getting to Skye Peninsula, the scenery was fantastic.
Mhm.
But I will say I didn't see a tremendous amount of scenery because I was too busy watching the roads. What you've got set up on your bike, the 360 camera, I would recommend anybody that's doing this kind of trip to have something like that because that way you're not going to be worrying about taking in to account the scenery itself. Your road safety is more important because there's not many potholes, but the roads themselves, there's some real bends on them. You never know what you're going to meet on the bends, and the amount of deer that are running about the place is incredible. So you've got to really be wary of them. But the roads were a bit of a challenge.
I suppose that's where being the pillion passenger comes in handy because you didn't have to focus on that. So you can do a bit of sightseeing as you're going, or was carrying your second pair of eyes.
She was, yeah. As I say, she is kind of not too experienced with this kind of thing, but she did pick up more as the trip went on, and we did go in for two-way comms as well. So we went for a headset. It was an Amazon choice, to be honest with you, and it's called Fosport, and the intercom system worked really, really well. They had a 15-hour charge time, but they were a fraction of the price of
Yeah,
what you is it Cardo?
Cardo.
Cardo you use? Now, they're what? £200-300?
Couple hundred quid at least, yeah, depending on what model you're going to get.
Yeah, and you know and I know that the one that I bought's compatible with yours, it does work with it.
Yeah,
And I got the dual one, and it was less than 70 quid. So it certainly did make a huge difference with that.
I think that's the thing. It's like everything. You can get the top of the range ones like the Cardo and that, and I'll come on to that a bit later because we were listening to Cardo and how things develop. Yeah, there are cheaper options out there, and now I think Cardo have realised that they need to be able to connect with other bits of kit because you can't just have a riding group that everybody's got cargo. As much as they
No.
would probably like that for sales, everybody's budget's a little bit different and everybody's riding time's a little bit different. So you're not going to invest a couple £100 if you're only riding every so often. Highlights, what was it? Scary bits? Scary bits. Come on, tell me the scary bits.
Scary Bites highlights. We went from Glencoe, we went over to Skye, and we went over the Kyle Alps, over the bridge. Heading over that, we were in probably 40-mile winds with rain matching, and it was like horizontal. Never seen rain like that before. When we got down to our accommodation, we were in converted sort of stables, I would say it was, in the Isle of Orkney. Now, it's the Hotel Isle in Armain. It was absolutely stunning. It really was. The locks, it was beautiful. People were really, really nice. We stopped there for a couple of days and just took in the sights. And we did take a run down to Armadale on the Saturday, which is where the ferry comes in. We were doing there. The sun was out as well, absolutely stunning. And then thought, right, well, we're on Skye, we might as well go up the Portree. So we took a run up the Portree. Roads are great, really are. A lot of traffic on them, but
Right.
Portree is really, really busy, as you would expect. But you know what? The island itself is absolutely stunning. It really is.
I think that's what people forget. I mean, I certainly forgot when we were heading up to Uist last year, is the islands need to be serviced. So there's a lot of traffic going to and from the islands. It's not just tourists, it's, supplies and things like that. But you're right, it's some beautiful, beautiful landscape and some cracking roads are there, and they're all on our doorstep.
Oh yeah.
As much as we all would love to plan and go to Europe, like Subway did, there's roads on your doorstep that, could just challenge you as much and give you so much enjoyment.
Well, I've been chatting to Mark McCluskey, one of our, you know, previous interviewees, let's say, and Mark said that he's been up to Skye quite a few times,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not that far away. I wouldn't say it would take that long to go. I'd love to go back to Skye, maybe in a car though.
Even an overnighter. or something
Yeah,
like that. If it was
yeah,
if it was a road trip that we're organising, you can do things like that.
yeah.
Where do you what happened
Af
after Skye?
After Skye, we headed up to Applecross. Now, don't do what I did. Do not over-research the Applecross Pass, which is in the Balachnaba. Don't over-research it because you end up with a fear before you even get there. Now, I intended to go around the coastal road to go into Applecross, which is basically up and around and back down. And then I thought, to save time, you know what, we'll just do the Balachnaba. Well, oh my giddy aunt, that's all I can say. There's notices at both ends. This road is unsuitable for camper vans and caravans. Totally unsuitable. Do they listen? Do they heck? And everywhere that you do not want to see one of these things, you meet them. So the first huge bend is called the Devil's Elbow. I met one right on the elbow. The next bend is just a few hundred yards up the road, and it's a really sharp left-hander going up the hill. And I met two camper vans coming down. I couldn't pull into the passing place because there was two cars already in there. So I basically had to titter on this really steep incline. I'm two up, full of luggage, and everybody knows hill starts are no easy on bikes anyway.
Hmm.
Quite a challenge, and I had two more stops like that before I actually got up to the top of the Balachnaba and headed down into Applecross. Applecross itself, there's not a lot there. You've got the Applecross Inn because it's a massive place, biker meetup place, and it's quite rural as well. But we were lucky; we stayed in a wee B&B, and it was called the Canrena Camisile. But they are also, it's a working croft. They've got the only shop in Applecross, and they've got the post office. Really lovely people, really lovely. The place is so quiet, but the Applecross Inn, they cater for everything. It's absolutely heaving with tourists and heaving with bikers. There's a lot of them. So if you're going out for a day trip, it's mainly for the West Coast guys.
Yeah.
But if you're going out for a day trip over on the West Coast, head up to Applecross.
It's something that's on my bucket list. I've never been up that way, so I'm keen to go up and try and check it out at some point. But it's interesting what you're saying about the camper vans and things like that, and people not paying attention to the signs. Is you forget that some of these roads are old roads, and
Yeah.
they aren't designed for heavy traffic. But
But
yeah,
the chat that we were,
I did see your rant on Facebook.
oh, the the croft that we were staying in, Alistair, the crofter, he has to run sheep from Applecross over to the Black Isle. So
Mm.
he pastures them lower down in the summer months. And he says, like, he uses that road with a trailer full of sheep. You must be absolutely mad. As he says, what he calls is, the flashing lights,
Uh-huh.
he calls them beacons. He says, I've got my beacons on. I've got my mirrors have got metal plates at the side of them. And if they'll no pull over me, I'm going through them.
And that's the thing with the motorhomes is they're wide. These mirrors really stick out. I mean, it's not like a normal van.
Yeah.
These mirrors really stick out, and that's hazardous
It's
for bikers.
hazardous for
You're
us.
trying to get past.
Because you're going to meet them on the bends as well, so you're going
Yeah.
forward towards them. So quite often you're actually swerving on a bend to go left, and you're actually doing that just to miss the mirrors because they're that big. But a lot of these people are tourists, foreign tourists, or even British or Scottish tourists who've never driven camper vans
Mhm.
before. So they're taking up a lot more room than what
So,
they really
so
need.
you mentioned that obviously you're on Applecross, Bar. You're two up. You've got the luggage, everything. How did the bike cope? Did the
Bike was great.
bike was great?
Absolutely fantastic. I had no issues with that bike whatsoever. Even on the hills, it was great. A lot of it was my own fear factor, I think, to be honest with you. The hill starts, you're finding that on your own. But I had my wife with me, so I was more worried about her. And I did say it before we set off, we are going to fall off this thing. Guaranteed we're going to fall off. But we didn't. So hey ho.
Good. That's always a plus.
Kudos to the passenger.
Yeah, kudos to the passenger because you would have got hell if you did have fallen off. That would
Yeah.
have been the end of the trip. So, what was after Applecross?
Ullapool. Absolutely stunning roads again. If you've never been to Ullapool, go to it. The place is absolutely beautiful. And the people are really nice as well. Thoroughly enjoyed a run up there. We stopped off at one of the National Trust gardens on the way up as well. The sun was shining. It was just absolutely beautiful. Thoroughly enjoyed Ullapool.
Great.
Would
And
highly recommend it. Caledonian Hotel.
Thousands.
Yeah.
But all these hotels and bed and breakfasts are listening.
Yeah. I've spent quite a bit of time doing my TripAdvisor reviews since I come back.
Oh, right.
But
So
there's only one I didn't do a review on 'cause I'm not into giving people bad reviews, but I just couldn't.
we will be getting some photos and things like that on social media,
Yeah.
folks. So we'll get that sorted out for you. So, right, after Liverpool, where are we
Liverpool,
now?
we headed up to Tongue, which is just the near Thurso. So we headed up the west coast right up to Dunmas. Yeah, again, you're going over moorland. We were laughing because when we left Liverpool, they were talking about all this heat wave down in England, right? You ought to seen the rain we saw. It was just crazy. Everybody was in waterproofs. There was quite a few bikes up here as well because this is part of the NC500, so you were seeing a lot more bikes. And some of the bikes were actually going halfway, and you could see they'd had enough,
Mhm.
and they were turning back because of the weather. But we didn't have that option. We had to get up to Tongue,
Yeah.
which is, as I say, just up near Thurso. So up to Durness, the roads again were just incredible, absolutely incredible. Same sort of places, stopping places, quite dodgy. But then we stopped off at a place called the Borgie Lodge Hotel in absolutely the middle of nowhere. It's run by a husband and wife team. This place was just fabulous. And we were only there one night, but absolutely fabulous. The guy that runs it with his wife, he's the chef as well. So
Mhm.
he does his own cook. And he's not a trained chef, as he would say he's picked up himself.
Yeah.
But, absolutely fantastic.
I suppose that is the upside of staying in hotels or B&Bs after a long day when you're soaking wet or whatever, or just tired, is having that little bit of luxury
Yeah.
that you can just recharge the batteries in, as opposed to, right, dear, there's the tent.
It's drying the kit off as well.
Yeah.
You know yourself, if your kit gets wet, where are you going to dry it off?
Where are you going to dry it?
And if you're in hotels, a wee top tip for, because you're not taking a lot of stuff with you anyways. Special underwear before we went off, not tenor men, I will say. Special underwear, which is like bamboo fiber, which
Yeah.
dries off quickly. So a quick shower, in go the socks, in go the drawers, and then if your towel rails are on in the hotel, switch them on, and your stuff's all dry and clean for the next day.
There you go. Trog's top tip. Use the towel rails, folks.
Yeah, use the towel rails.
We're after Turn or Dundee, so we're at Dundee.
We headed from Tongue over to Gills Bay, which is
Right.
just near Thurso
Yeah.
itself. And we took the short sea ferry over to St Margaret's Hope in Orkney.
And how was the crossing?
It was great, flat calm, and we were in the Air Hotel in Kirkwall for 3 nights, catching up with family.
That must have been good going back home and meeting family and
Yeah, it was. It was really nice. I don't say it, I'd always wanted to use the bike in Orkney, but I drove from St Margaret's Hope to Kirkwall, and on the Sunday we were going to go out to Stromness and have lunch. Got halfway to Stromness, and it just chucked it. So we turned about, came back to Kirkwall, and the sun was shining. And then when we left Kirkwall on that Sunday, it was just a beautiful day. So we got across to Thurso and took a shorter route as well, which instead of going around the top of the island, via Wick and whatnot, I headed straight across. I was using the Google Maps for this. As much as like it was pretty dodgy roads yet again, it saved me about 38 miles. So it was an 11-mile detour, and that took me on the A9, which we headed down the A9 towards Dingwall. And I'm not going to say much about Dingwall.
all right. It was Dingwall an experience, was it?
Yeah, aye. Experienced it. But this way, I'll not be going back to Dingwall.
All right, okay.
Definitely no.
Apologies to people in Dingwall. I don't know what's going on there.
Must be lovely people, yeah, but the hotel was dire.
Right.
Hotel was dire. People know people in Dingwall. There was a bar brawl when we were just trying to sort of calm ourselves and get ready after a long drive. And I says to the barman, says, "Have you any crisp or any food?" "Nah, no food, mate." "What have you got?" It says, "2 packets of peanuts." I went, "Right, okay. So if you've got peanuts allergy, you're knackered." "What kind of peanuts you got?" It says, "No, salted ones, and I've got these yellow ones." I went, "Right, okay, Karen, you're having a packet of peanuts. I'm having a tenants." Next day, breakfast. "Any breakfast?" "Oh, the chef's on holiday." "Right, so have you no contingent in place?" "No, nothing, but we can give you a continental breakfast." So that was cornflakes and toast. "Nah, you're all right.
Right.
See ya."
So you got out of Dingwall as quick as you could, obviously.
Very quickly.
Where were we next?
We headed to Pitlochry. That was our final stop in Pitlochry, and we had a really nice night there as well.
Overall,
14 days we were away, under 1,300 miles.
right,
And you know what? Thoroughly enjoyed it.
good.
I really did enjoy it. It's a once in a lifetime trip. If you're doing that, Steve, I'm 64, and doing something like that at 64 for the first time, it's hard going. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, it's no easy. I would say Plan your routes. Do not rely on sat nav. Use your maps. I use the Recounts map, which has got the NC500 on it, so it covers all the areas you need in Scotland. But as much as I was planning routes on my Google Maps, I was using that as well. And yeah, just take your time.
So one final question on this, and you've just mentioned your maps. Did you get lost at any point?
Not really.
Not really, right? Okay.
No, I never got lost. I just shouldn't have paid too much attention to Google Maps. So I should have planned my routes a wee bit. But I learned that very early on.
I think the thing is with things like Google Maps and stuff like that, they're great if you've got signal and they're updated.
Yeah, well, I was downloading my routes, to be honest with you.
I think a lot of apps can allow you to do that, is to download the maps offline and stuff.
When I had the signal. But you know me, I've only been using Google Maps a couple of months.
Yeah.
I only got the glasses that I used for my trip a couple of months ago because I couldn't even see Google Maps on the bike.
Yeah.
So
but for those of you who've seen any videos, you'll see that that Trog sat nav is usually me in front. And if I get lost, that's the spotting snooker. So, but it sounds like you and Carl had a great time, a great adventure, a great, experience in something, making memories. And I think that's
what it's all about.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an NC500 as much as it was part of it. It was a tour of Scotland, and it's really made us want to tour Scotland again.
Well, I think that's the important thing. It's not put you off. It's like it's just invigorated you to want to do more.
Yeah.
And especially as Karen, as you say, she's not been on the back of the bike for a long time. So if she's saying, "Look, I'm happy to do something like that again," that's
maybe not on the motorbike though.
Maybe not on the motorbike, right?
Maybe join the camper van.
Yeah. So if I go up Applecross, I need to watch it for you.
I wouldn't have put bikers through that going over to Applecross.
Yeah.
I would go the other way, and that's taking the coast road.
Right.
But you've got to, if you look at the map, you've got to go up to come back on yourself. And even their roads are quite precarious, and they're single track roads with passing points. And these passing points, they're not built for bikes. So they all run at an incline, and they're all full of gravel, loose gravel, and all the rest of it. So you're pulling in there, you're braking, obviously. It's got your feet sliding all over the place. So your bike would be okay with it. Mine's was managed it. Subways, I don't know. His big BM would struggle with the passing points. But that's an experience. But I would say again, as I've reiterated, get yourself a 360 camera where it's going to record your memories, because 9 times out of 10 you're watching the roads.
Well, by contrast, mine was a lot shorter.
Yeah, but the M6, I've done that before.
So this year I decided that, given that I have an adventure bike, I haven't done any off-roading, I needed to learn a bit more or see a bit more. So I went to the ABR, the Adventure Bike Rider Festival, which was at Ragley Hall, Alcester, if I'm pronouncing that right, about an hour from Birmingham. And we headed off on the Thursday night. The plan was to get down near Birmingham, stay overnight, and then we were only an hour from the venue on the Friday morning. It opened on the Thursday for some people. If you had that ticket, ours was Friday through Sunday. A friend of mine, Andrew, was going down as well, so it was good there. M6 was actually okay, to be honest. The only thing about it is we were driving in 25.5 degrees heat, which
I should have done some of that.
Which meant some of the, we didn't have the buffs on. The visor was up most of the time. The top of the jacket was open a bit, but it was enjoyable. We just took a bit of time getting there. There was various stops for different reasons, not just fuel and food.
How was your bike on the fuel? Because that's quite.
It was all right. I mean, I only had to fill up just the once. I think we got to T-Bay. It was more that I'm always overcautious. Even when the bike's not telling me I've got 80 miles left, I might still top up just to be sure. But I was using a new app called My Route Map, I think it was, which Jim Imrie, who's somewhere in Europe at the moment, had mentioned. And the thing I liked about it is it plotted your route, but it also told you how far you were away from the next fuel station. So it was quite good. It would say next service is 12 miles, next service is 30 miles.
What's that one called?
My Route app, I think it is.
Oh, right, okay. I'll never look at that one.
And it was quite good because you could sort of gauge, right, is the bike telling me the truth that I've got 80 miles left because it's only 50 miles to the next one and things like that. But we got to the hotel eventually. It was a travel lodge. Wasn't much to it when we got there, but you pay for what you get. I think we were 40 quid each for the night. Should read the details in detail when it says you're getting a takeaway breakfast, which was a box where it had a carton of milk, cornflakes, and a bottle of water. And I think that cost us £8.95 or whatever. But we got up in the morning, there was some fellow ABR people there, got down there. We had been warned that there'd be massive queues for the check-in. You've got to sign your disclaimer and your check-in. Yeah, I think we were checked in within 2 minutes. You get in there.
Right.
The key thing is to always print your stuff off, print off your QR code, because Ragley is well known for not having great signal for your phone. So have everything downloaded to start with. We went in, signed a disclaimer, got our code scanned, got our wristbands and our map and directions of where we go. There will be footage that I do upload at some point, because I did have the 360, but part of it was later in the weekend. 20,000 bikers over the weekend. Lots of manufacturers out there for test rides and everything. SA, Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha, they were all there.
So proper bike show.
Proper bike show. Yeah. Lots of speakers for different types, adventure types. I think there's a bit of something for everybody, not just the adventure. Got the tent up in 10 minutes as instructed, which was great. We were probably, I think at its hottest, we were probably 30, 35.5 degrees over the weekend. It was too hot at times. It's well laid out. The toilets are great and clean. The showers are great and warm, which actually turned out to be a blessing, because I thought I needed a cold shower, but the warm shower warmed up the body temperature. So when you went out, you were cool. Plenty of space. I didn't come across any sort of, anybody misbehaving and things like that, but took a walk around just to get our bearings to begin with. You really have to go early if you want to book the test rides, but as long as you've got your DVLE check and things like that, you can go on anything. I was reluctant to do test rides and go a bit off-roading because it was my first time there and I hadn't done any off-roading. Andrew went, he did a bit of scrambling on a BSA. He did come off. He admits it himself, he gunned it a little bit too much. And he broke the gear lever on the BSA, and they didn't have a spare one. So the guy said, that's us down a bike. He did pry his ankle, but fortunately we checked later and there was nothing broken. But a great weekend. I mean, during the day, you're going around all the different stands. There's bikes, there's accessories, Cardo were there, Insta360 were there, all sorts of guys. The speakers ranged from Girl on a Bike to adventure riders. Charlie Boorman was there, Richard Hammond. I've been trying to meet up with Charlie Boorman for ages. I missed him at the Scottish Motorbike Show, and just purely by coincidence, he was at the Zero Fit stand just signing and chatting. The only thing I had was an orange bucket hat, which I got my sign. He asked if I was camping with the poor people, which I said yes. Really nice guy, down to earth, just wandering about the place. He didn't have escorts and all this.
He's always
diva stuff.
As a very, very down to earth.
Oh, it is. I mean, even when he was moving from one stand to another, because he was really supporting a lot of people who are sponsors or whatever. He's just walking. You're walking along and mind your own business, and all of a sudden you go, that's Charlie Boorman. Really, really good. I mean, a lot of people were like that. A lot of the speakers were great, down to earth. Some of the stories have really got me fired up to see more of the world. I'm not looking at the Himalayas or anything like that just now, but yeah, definitely get off this island a bit more. I would like to do Europe. So it gave me a lot of food for thought. There was a lot of guys there that really know what they're doing on bikes on the adventure side. You can go on the different trails for a bit of off-roading, and there's a beginner's trail. There's a bit more adventurous. They have the Bog of Doom, which is just all, from what I can gather, is just all mud, and you have to give it your attempt to get the bike through. I'm pretty sure I saw footage of a guy trying to go through in a moped or something equivalent, and fair play to him, he gunned it right in there. And normally when you get stuck in the Bog of Doom, there's a tractor to pull you out.
Right.
And actually, I think it might actually been a female rider. I could be wrong. It might have been a female rider. And the bike, the moped was pulled out by the rider themselves. It was that light. They saw them pulling out. They didn't need any help. Food-wise, drink-wise, lots of bars, lots of different food. I've never seen so many different food vendors in one place. Having done markets and festivals before, I wouldn't say it was overpriced. I think it was about £5-6 for a pint, which is town prices. Food varied from £10 to maybe £14, depending on what you were getting. And there was all sorts. There was Chinese, there was Greek, there was bratwurst, there was everything. And what people have to remember is these people have to pay a pitch to be there.
Pitch fee.
So, they're paying a pitch fee and they've got to make a living as well. But it was great. The entertainment at night, stages, so many different stages you could go to. There was some great dance rave music. There was a mariachi band that was there. There was a Bowie guy. There was an AC/DC tribute, all different sorts. The Elvis impersonator
I
on
was just going to ask you, was there an Elvis
the
there?
Elvis guy on the Saturday night was just had everybody rocking. A few people had disappeared. I think they were going to watch the England game. It was being shown at a different screen to accommodate them. But brilliant night. Not a lot of queuing, as I said, from my perspective. Really, really enjoyed
So
it.
was that from the Thursday to the Sunday?
I was Friday to Sunday, but it runs Thursday to Sunday. You get different tickets, and I think you can even get a day ticket if you're just coming on Saturday. I even bumped into John Bishop, who I've been following because I think he got into adventure bikes quite late and has went on a variety of different tours. I was watching a clip of his the other day. I think he stopped somewhere in Spain to get some food, and it's all about these little things that you don't normally find.
So is that something you fancy trying out? Maybe a wee bit off-roading?
I would like to. I think what I'll do before next year is I might actually go somewhere. I think Motorrad, do some off-roading training, because I'd like to do a bit of that and just vary it. But what the ABR showed to me is there's different types of adventure. I think the adventure I've sort of been on now is touring, the normal tarmac, things like that, seeing places and stuff. You've then got...
Do the West Coast.
Well,
normal
I'll
tarmac.
do the West Coast. You've then got the
Take it from me.
adventure side, which is a bit more off-road, but then I think you've also got the enduro, which is the hardcore guys. So it's certainly given me a lot of ideas of what I might want to do. But like yourself, I'm not getting any younger, as my good lady reminds me. And while the mind is willing, the body might not always be able.
That's one of the things that I've got to agree with Brenda there, because my 64-year-old head still telling me I'm 30. But after 200 miles on the bike, my 64-year-old body is going, hey, waking up. It's quite a challenge. It really is quite a challenge.
I think the biggest thing for me about ABR was how welcoming everybody was, regarding of you. I mean, there was young people there. There was people older than me there. You can take a motorhome if you've got it. There was quite a bit of that. A lot of people are saying it's getting too festively. I don't see that. There is the festival element at night, but there's a lot to do during the day. I still think I missed bits and pieces. And I think that's the thing. If you've got people staying over for the weekend and they're busy doing motorbike stuff during the day, you have to provide something at night. You have to provide entertainment. You have to provide good food, good drink, things like that. We met a couple of guys, the two Anthonys from Bolton. If you're listening, guys, hello. It was great to meet you. We got on great, even when you're just standing in the queue for something. The banter's flowing. Nobody's moaning. Nobody's complaining. Certainly I didn't experience that. Others might have. Dunlop were there. They were doing a tyre change service for you if you drove down on normal tyres, but you wanted to go off road and use your own bike, you could put the tyres on there. Our good friend Treads was working there. He works for Black Circles. He was partnering up with Bridgestone, so he was working those 4 days and trying to find at night. The signal is non-existent. Trying to send messages to people is a nightmare, because you send a message and it gets through to the person you sent it to 4 hours later when you maybe got a bit of signal. But it was also good to switch off from emails, social media, things like that. One tip I have learned is to buy a couple of walkie-talkies if you do go down, because then if you do lose whoever you're down there with, you can message them on the walkie-talkie and say, right, this is where we're meeting. But a great bunch of welcoming people. I mean, 20,000 sounds hectic, but I can sometimes suffer from claustrophobia, and I never once felt that it was crowded, even when we were at the bars, when we were at the gigs, things like
quite
that.
A few of the aerial shots on social media, and it was well spread out.
It's a massive, massive place. They have 2 double-decker buses that drive round the whole estate. So no matter where you're camped, if you're camped in the quiet zone, which is quite far back, you can jump on this bus and get in. Some of the guys were taking their bikes down and parking them up. I'm assuming nobody was drinking. I didn't see anybody go offline or go squiggly or any accidents. But these buses, the Honda buses, go round and they can pick you up, drop you off. It's all free. There was massage. The vast majority of the stuff that's there is free. You have to pay for your trail tickets separate, but the testing with the bikes is free. You just have to queue up in the morning, put your name down, show the credentials that you can actually have a license and things like that. And you can go on Yamaha's Suzuki's, Triumphs, things like that. The manufacturers, I think, went above and beyond with what they can provide. Fair play to Alan, the founder of the ABR festival. In my opinion, it was a great festival. I would definitely like to go back. I just need to time it with holidays and things like that for next year. But I think whether you're a beginner or whether you're an advanced, it's a place for you to go and visit. And it just shows the different types of adventures that you can have on your bikes. You know, from going to a festival and doing a bit of off-roading to doing the NC500, seeing your native land that's around you and things like that.
Yeah, plan it. And get out there. And get out there.
Exactly. Yeah, the best laid plans, that's what they say. I mean, you can just wing it if you want and see where it takes you. And sometimes you find these hidden mysteries purely because you have went and taken the wrong turn in or something like that. I think it just shows that motorbikes can take you places that you've never been before. They can bring you experiences that you've never had before and make you want more of that. I mean, you've already said that you would like to go out again. Maybe not on a motorbike, but I think that'll change that.
I'm definitely up for doing some more. We've already discussed this with Subway. But I'm definitely up for maybe shorter trips. This one's not going to be my last tour. And it's not going to be Cairns either, but maybe not as long as what we've done. Just when we were chatting there. One of my funniest memories of this whole trip, to be honest with you, is I don't know if you've ever come down the A9, but there's a place called the Berrydales.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Very, very, very steep hills and very, very steep corners. And it must be in the local banners from 125.
The local banners.
Full racing leathers on 125s. Absolutely overtaking everything on all these bends. So they obviously knew the roads. And I just laughed. Absolute idiots.
So as we wind up, your top tip for your adventure that you've been on, what would you say the top tip is?
Plan what you're taking, plan your route. Do not rely on your navigation system. Always back up your maps, but planning's the key. And enjoy it. Because anywhere in Scotland, if you get lost, you're not getting lost.
I agree. And for me, for something like the ABR or a similar festival, read what the organisers are putting out. Every week there was something coming out from ABR about this is how you do this is how you do that, especially in their Facebook groups and things like that. There was questions you could ask in advance. It was not about turning up on the day and going, oh, I didn't know that, I didn't know this. You know, things like your DVLA check code, all these sort of things. I think I should have done more planning, and I would have known where that there was more stuff to see and visit and do. And I may well do that next year if I do end up going. But you do. It's a learning experience. So thank you to everybody at ABR that made my weekend a success. If you can organise the weather again for next year, that would be brilliant, because the sun was just splitting. It was superb. And the only thing I would say is I was going out to try and buy a hydration pack. I thought, Camel Pack are here. They'll have hydration packs. That'll save me carrying my bottle about with me. They only had ladies' hydration packs. I don't know what the difference is. So please, guys, you're well known for this. Try and stock the hydration packs, because I wasn't wanting a bottle. But other than that, a perfect weekend. The drive back up on the Sunday was okay. A bit of rain when we got to one of the services. What happens? I put all my waterproofs on. Then what happens? No rain between there and Edinburgh. So I was a bit toasty. But go and check these things out. Go and be an adventurer around your own area, your own country. Go and try and look at these festivals and visit them. They're there for a reason. They're there for you. And I guarantee you will enjoy both of them. So that winds us up for this episode. More episodes coming later in the year with some guests and things like that. So please tune in where you can. We appreciate your support. The merch is getting out there. The t-shirts are flying off, which we appreciate. We've got some coins now there, but they're going thick and fast. All those proceeds are going to go to some local community groups and charities, and we will be making our first donation quite soon. But from me, Donkey, thank you very much for supporting us.
Yeah, and from me as well. Trog, thanks very much for listening to our ramblings of our recent adventures and our more adventures which are planned. Thank you.
Take care, folks, and ride safe.
Bye for now.
Bye.